Good evening. Another day. You don't have to be perfect, baby.
You don't gotta be perfect, you just gotta get started. Don't overthink it. Just go where your heart is, turn your dreams and your goals. Let your goals shape how you live. Success is inevitable if you're willing to give up your old self to become someone new, to be the true you. Never be afraid to do you in front of the critics, sideline judges, non-believers, people holding their grudges. Appreciate the hate. It comes with the winning. When your wise making the money, you're unstoppable from the beginning. Your excuses are useless. Let your actions be part of the solution and watch the income it produces. Recognize greatness, a supreme revelation. Here's a blood, sweat, and tears to become an overnight sensation. Can't do it alone. I should have said this first. Teamwork always makes the dream work. Teamwork always makes the dream work.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Live from the Moxie, we have another episode of You Don't Have to Be Perfect. You just gotta get started. And we have a special guest from y'all today. We have the founder of I Create Magazine, the designer of the wardrobe collection, the content creator extraordinaire, Miss Talisha Smith. Talisha, welcome to You Don't Have to Be Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, being here today, the people want to know really what is content creation, because there are so many people that call themselves content creators. So, what separates a content creator from a producer, from possibly a podcaster? What is the difference?
So, the difference between a content creator and a producer is a producer mostly works with like film, music, and what they're doing is putting things together. The content creator is usually putting uh, media or content together, and more on the editing and kind of like producing content side, if that makes sense. And then a content creator is usually the person inside of the content. They come up with an idea, they collaborate with the business, and then they put it together. Content creators are really salespeople.
So, you do a lot of content creation and content producing for other businesses. So, what do you enjoy more, and what when a client comes to you, what would you suggest they should be thinking more of? Because people think content, people don't think production, they think creation. And you just gave us two different things. The creator is the person in the content, the producer
Mhm.
is the one coming up with the great
The
ideas.
concept, yep. So
So,
wait, can
go
you
ahead.
ask? Can you re-ask that question?
Of
Sorry.
course I can. I said, when clients are coming to I Create, do you come to them more, helping them thinking more as their content producer or as a content creator, or does that differ based on the business? We lost her for a moment, but it's okay. So she may be having some technical difficulties, and that's why you don't have to be perfect. But what we were talking about was actually content creation. She has this great magazine, I Create Magazine. So she also produces content and creates content for other magazines, other businesses, other people who are interested in bringing their brand in front of more eyes. So, what we are going to be discussing is what is the difference and then why she brings the magic, because she's been helping a few companies truly grow by both being the content creator and the content producer. You know, she helped produce content for our streetwear expo, but she's been doing some amazing content for the warehouse at Mark Goods. So being able to help people understand the difference is some amazing things. So we are live at the Moxie. We choose the Moxie because it is a beautiful setting. If you see the line in the background, I definitely like that setting. Um, Big shout out to my friend Joe Wheeler and City Center for designing this, beautiful hotel and, helping us get some locations in here. We choose this prior location, but look for some new locations coming soon within the hotel that we will be filming from. We chose the lion's head behind us on purpose because we felt royal. We liked the way the lion looked behind us. We liked the feel that it gave. We liked, what it did to start season 2 off with. So, if people ask why we choose the Moxie, it is definitely one of the better locations in our city. And she's back, That's why you don't have to be perfect. You just have to get started. So while you were gone, we were discussing or telling them about I Create Magazine. And the reason that we asked the question about you doing creation versus production, because I said you're doing some great creation, doing some online auctions for one of your clients, but then you did some great production for the Streetwear Expo here in Allentown for us. So understanding the difference between, those two and the magic that your company brings and having either one of those options.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
I sure can.
Okay, cool. No, okay. Good now.
You're coming in loud and clear. I can hear you. I can see you. So yeah.
Yay. Okay, we're good.
All
Okay, can
right.
you ask me that again? I'm going to put my sunglasses on. Okay, can you ask me
Oh
that again?
man, she's in her creators mode. This is what we're talking about. So the question was, how do you choose, or how should a client choose, whether when they're coming to you, whether they need content creation or content production? Because I know you're doing some great content creation for Mark Goods and in their warehouse, and helping them do some great, amazing things with their warehouse and selling makeup and a lot of things. But then you did some content production for the Ultimate Streetwear Expo, which didn't have you in the actual content, but actually had you putting together what the reels look like and everything else. So again, How do you help a client understand whether they need content creation or production, or is that usually up to the client and you just create around that?
Well, it depends on what their goals are. So usually when I meet with a client, the first thing I need to know is what are their goals. Most clients come to me because they want to either they want to establish a page, they want to improve their online presence, or they want to drive traffic to their website. So it all depends on what their goals and their budget. So sometimes we got to make it work. And so that's whenever we're going to do content creation. Somebody with an unlimited budget, we're going to do the whole thing. We're going to shoot commercials, we're going to do content creation, then we're going to take over and manage your page. Most business owners don't have time to consistently market their business on social media. So what happens is they, kind of drop the ball. But what people don't know is that these are statistics from last year, but 87% of sales were coming in from a video that people have seen on social media. And at that time, I was working in retail, and literally the girls would come in. I was in Sephora and Ulta selling products, and the girls would literally come in. They wouldn't even talk to you. They would just show you a video. They would be like, "Look, this is what I need. Point me in the direction of this." That's it. They don't want to talk. They don't care. The video, the influencer told them to buy it. They were going there to buy it. And
Wow.
so
So
what I would always tell business owners is if you're not involved in that 87% of traffic being drawn to your place, to your store, business, website, or brick and mortar, you're going to miss out on that action, and eventually you're going to have to close. Because 87%, that was a year ago. I'm sure it's higher now.
that's awesome. So is that what drove you into content creation itself, understanding where the market was, or was it because, you know, that's naturally what is the camera what came natural to you?
No, I actually hate taking pictures, and I don't look good in pictures usually. But I learned a secret trick that makes me look better in pictures because I'm very uncomfortable in front of the camera and people, in fact. But what got me into content creation, I'm gonna be honest, is I was a stay-at-home mom, and I love to watch, I was used to watch people sell things online, and I was like, I can do this." And so if you look at some of my older videos, I used to make content every day with my kids and in my backyard. Like I would be outside all day. I made all kinds of videos for all the products that I was using, Sunbum and all of them, for all of those companies I was working for. I would make my content, but I loved the lighting outside. So I always recorded outside. So, but that's how I got into it. Just being a stay-at-home mom, being home, and like when you're just not just, but when you're a stay-at-home mom, sometimes it's kind of lonely. You don't really have, that many friends. So I started making content, and that was kind of my job. That kind of kept me going and gave me that time away from just from my responsibilities.
I love.
So.
I want to touch on a couple things because you said some real key things that I want to help people push past. Because again, this you don't have to be perfect. You said you're not very comfortable in front of the camera, but you still do it anyway.
Yes.
I think that's important because a lot of entrepreneurs don't realize that you have to find a way to be comfortable being uncomfortable in order
Hmm.
to find success along the way. So, for you to say you're not comfortable in front of the camera is with as many videos and pictures that you take on a daily basis shows, a level of strength, that most people didn't know you had to push past.
Hmm.
That's power. So I wanted to highlight that because there's someone right now who's saying, "Well, I'm not comfortable doing this," and they're
Yes.
allowing that to stop them. You
Hmm.
know, but you didn't allow your uncomfortability to stop you. You know, was it because being a stay and this may help someone else, right? Was being a stay-at-home mom made it easier for you to deal with that uncomfortability in getting to build your community, or was it just the the desire to do something different, like that allowed you to
Um,
push past not being comfortable in front of the cameras, but still finding success?
I think it was more of an outlet, so it worked for me. So I remember I had made a video and I told people I was going to be at Ulta premiering some new makeup. I believe it was Beauty Counter. We were launching Beauty Counter in Ulta, and I made videos because I had traffic coming in, but I was like, imagine if I have people specifically coming in this store looking for me instead of like getting my traffic from people that's just coming to Ulta, you know? Because then it's a little bit harder to close the deal because those people are coming, they already have in their mind what they're looking for, and I'm trying to get them to purchase what I'm selling. So I said, well, what if I start talking about the products that I have? It worked. That's what happened is I made a video about I don't remember what company we were launching, if it was Maylee's first or if it was Beauty Counter, but I made a video and I had a bunch of followers, 5 people that came in specifically to Ulta looking for me to purchase the item I was talking about. And so once they came in and I closed all 5 of those sales, all 5 of those people bought something from me. I realized that to me that was proof of concept, and so that actually worked. So I was like, oh snap! So then I just started talking about other things all the time, and then yeah, it made me feel like I was still like part of the I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I was gonna say. Okay, it made me feel like I was like part of the still part of the world, and it was I can do it on my own time. So I could be recording content at 3 o'clock in the morning. Nobody knows that it's 3 a.m. Everybody's sleeping. It's quiet in my house. So that was something else that I liked about content is there was no like it wasn't a 9 to 5 job. I can go record it when I wanted to.
I love it. So I love that you're telling our our moms, our freedom seekers, right? That freedom can come at any time. You're a stay-at-home mom with responsibilities, taking care of the kids and making sure that they were, because they were young kids, making sure that they were doing well. So you decided to run your business in off hours, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's amazing because you didn't make any excuses.
Oh
And
no,
it's
no.
easy to make excuses. You could have made the excuse, I'm a stay-at-home mom, I have no time. I have small children, I have no time.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable in front of the camera, I can't do this. But from all of the different things that look like hurdles, you seem to jump over every one of those hurdles and find your way. So if for anybody coming behind you, right? What that has their own set of hurdles. They may not have the same ones, but they may have something similar. What would you tell them when they see these hurdles in front of them? I'm uncomfortable in front of the camera. You know, I don't have time during the day. My kids, like, what do you tell that next young entrepreneur coming behind you?
I would say Hmm. I would say do it scared, but educate yourself as much as you can. Some stuff you should be afraid of, but I get as much education on the subject as I can. So at least then, whenever I'm facing my fears, I'm facing it with a measure of knowledge. You know what I mean? So my first thing is you want to explore that fear. So what am I afraid of? What is it that I don't like about myself that doesn't want me to be in front of the camera? You know what I mean? So that's what I did. It's a lot of self-reflection. And then you build yourself up because being in front of the camera now you have to understand that being on the internet now you open up the door to let people give their opinion about what you're doing, whether you want it or not. Whether you want the opinion or not, being on social media, it allows people to have an open door, like in the comments, to give their opinion about what you're doing in the video or in the picture. So anyway, I had to really explore what I didn't like about myself, what it was that I feared about being on camera. How come I'm so awkward, in front of the camera? And so then I just educated myself. Okay, so I was like, I feel like my face is too long. Like I had to really be honest with myself. And so I worked on those things that I didn't really like about myself or that I thought was going to be a problem. So I educated myself on how to pose, how to hold my camera, what were the angles, which angle I liked, what kind of lighting I liked. And so that gave me a little bit more confident. And then I would get nasty comments. But then once you build up your confidence in yourself, those comments, they really don't bother you, because when you know truthfully who you are, it's like, okay. You know what I mean? When you're pretending to be something else, the comments are going to bother you. But when you know who you are, like, okay, yeah. Oh, wow. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It doesn't bother you when people say things about you, because you know who you are. So you either are that or you're not. If it bothers you, there might be some truth in that comment that's stinging or triggering you. If it's not true about you, like, okay, somebody be like, "Oh, you're ugly, girl, please." You know, daggone well, I'm not ugly. You know what I mean? Because I'm confident in who I am. So it's like, no, I'm not ugly. So if somebody put that, and I've had comments like that, like, "Oh, you're so ugly," and I was just like, something must be wrong with her phone. She must not be able to see the real me. It was never like, "Oh my god, I'm ugly. Let me go check." I'm like, that cannot be true. Like, so it was a lot, and I'm saying that now confidently, but there was a lot of internal work that went to get there. But the first step was deciding that this is what I want to do. So in order for that to be what I wanted to do, I had to work on myself internally and be internally strong enough that when those comments came, they didn't break me, because I be seeing people crashing out online almost every day, all over the place. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know. And there's two different things. I also know specific creators that creating actually helps their mental health. So it's just, you know what I mean? It's just really getting your mindset right. And if you're going on there to achieve a goal, I didn't care if people thought I was ugly or not. Sis, do you want to buy this product or not? Are you coming to Ulta today to come get these new Chanel samples I have? Like, I could, whatever. You feel like I'm ugly. I feel like there's something wrong with your eyes. We both feel away. Now, you know what I mean? But do you want to buy this product? Yes or no? Do you want the new Chanel that just came out or no? That's literally, you know what I mean? So if you're on there for a specific reason, when things come up that's not part of your goal, who cares?
I love it. The quote that I use for my book is, be so sure of yourself that anyone can lift your spirit, but no one can shake your confidence.
I like that.
Right? You know, so I love that, you found, that space in yourself where no one can shake your confidence, because, you know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? What is pretty to someone is ugly to another, right? What is wealth to another may not be the same to someone else. So to find yourself in order to build your tribe is powerful. So I love that you said that, because there are people right now that are allowing other people's perceptions of them to stop them from reaching their next plateau. And you said, you didn't care that people may have said you were ugly. I'm not ugly. You didn't care that people said what they said, because you are not those things. Those are just things people said. And they don't become who we are until we own them.
Yeah.
And I love that you said you didn't have to own those things. So, and we got some big things coming up for you right now. You have a magazine, a second edition that's going to
Let's,
come,
we have
you
that
know.
flyer. I'll just put that in the camera. Yay.
Yeah,
Sorry, a little
so
blurry, but you get it.
so tell us about I Create Magazine, how we get here, you know, what you know, what can people expect, with where you're going with your magazine.
So what reason why I Create magazine was produced was because we wanted to give creators a platform. an imprint magazine to showcase what they can do, and kind of a networking for creators and for business owners, to be able to showcase what they do and to be able to find creators. It wasn't so easy. Like, if you're a business owner and you want to find a creator, where do you go? And also exploring. So a lot of the territory, so social media marketing took off pretty fast, and a lot of the it's still being regulated, it's still being formed. um, there's not really that much. At the time the magazine was launched, now they're putting a lot of things in play as far as copyrights and stuff. So we wanted to be kind of proactive with, as different laws change, as different information comes in about how to book creators, what the pricing are from creators. We wanted to be an educational thing for creators and for businesses and marketing teams alike. So we also wanted to showcase, like, we're into so much. So what we wanted to do was come up with something. So what I wanted to do was come up with something that can encompass everything, because I literally have a bunch of friends that do awesome business stuff, and I wanted to have a place where we can showcase everybody collectively without overwhelming the reader. And so a magazine was what we decided to go with. Since I was like 9 years old, I used to have a newspaper. Like, I've always been wanting to be the media. So I felt like the magazine was a way for us, not really political stuff, but I wanted to show the insights, because again, I know a lot of people and they're doing a lot of amazing things, and the people most of the people who are doing like the real work, they are either too busy to be in the spotlight or they don't like the spotlight. It's like, oh no, 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 I just want to be in the background. I've heard that from you. I've heard that from a couple other of my colleagues, and they're really out here doing big things. And so that was a reason why I did want to go ahead and put that article in about you, helping that young man get that grant. This is a young man that got a nice amount grant to help his clothing line, that you've coached and you've mentored and consulted through this situation. And I think that that's something that should have been highlighted. So those are the kind of things that I'm blessed enough to have access to, like, some of the things that go around in the back offices that I feel like people need to be recognized for. Because a lot of those great people don't say, hey, I just got him a grant, or hey, I just, sent kids to this event. Like, they don't come out and say that. So I'm the person that's going to say, hey, this person is actually doing these things in the community. You know what I mean? So that was that was exactly another reason why I wanted to do that magazine, and kind of showcase and spotlight some of these, heroes that people might not even know what all their hands are into. Oh, we just see them, he has a business or he has this, but you don't know what this person is really doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome to be able to spotlight, other people, because it's easy to point a finger at yourself. Like, most people always want to say me, 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 me. I'm not one of those people, but that is, society today, because we are in a voyeuristic society. Most people want to be seen. So for you to put together something that allows others to be seen and to tell the stories of others is amazing. You know, that's actually, something that we need to see more people do. Like, look to get it out there. So where can they find the magazine? When is it coming out? What, so that people, when when I create launches issue two, right? Is this issue number two?
This is issue number 2. Issue number 1 came out last year. Yeah. But so issue number 2, they will be coming out quarterly now. So issue number 2 is fully focused on, of course, the relaunch. We have a couple of music artists in there. We have some designers. We have some awesome stories, like the one about yourself. There, we just booked the last ad space today, so there's no more ad space available. But where can they find it? I can send you a link. And there are a few locations that will be selling it. But until they're all like finalized, I don't want to say where, but you can
Okay.
definitely get them at the magazine release party. You have to pre-order, and I posted the link all over my page, but I will definitely send it if anybody still wants to get one. The thing about the benefits of pre-ordering the magazine is your magazine is guaranteed to be there at the magazine release party. We might have extra, we might not. And when we had the magazine, the first issue sold out 3 times. So I know that
That's
the
all.
second issue is going to, we could not even keep it in stock. So I know that the second issue, we're expecting the second issue to be like that as well.
That is awesome. That is awesome. You're doing something well when you can't keep it on hand. When as soon as you're putting it out, people want it. So that's a kudos, a testament, to your hard work. So there are some amazing stories that are coming in this. So people should really be excited about this next episode. And I was blessed to be at your photo shoot this past weekend, and I see that you're also giving a lot of opportunities to the next generation.
Oh,
You had some young people doing your photos. Was that done purposely? Trying to give plant seeds in this next generation, or was that just how it happened to happen per se?
so there's certain people when it comes to photography. I have my favorite photographer, which is always going to be Serene Melody. But what we're learning as we grow, as business owners, and be, you start to expand, you realize that you're going to need more. Like for her, I wanted her to be actually in the magazine this time and not just us working all the time. So it was time that we needed to outsource some of the work. One of my business partners showed me how to outsource work. So I decided that, yeah, we wanted to try people that we were familiar with. I've seen Nina Bat's work, Rob's work. He shot a Canva commercial for us. I was very impressed with his turnaround. I was very impressed with, the camera that he had and how he handled the camera. So I said, you know what, let's try this out. And I'm always about, um, I love to invest in our communities, right? Like I love to invest in our community, so in the community. So and I can't say. I guess they were handpicked photographers that we wanted to use, and we'll see how it goes. But it looks like so far it's been a walk in the park, and both of them are very interested in signing on permanently. So we'll see.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I heard you say your favorite photographer being Serene Melody, uh,
Absolutely.
a second generation photographer, because her father, you know,
Yep.
is
Blake.
is is was my first, photographer. He would walk around and take all kinds of photos for me as we launched as a motivational speaker. So that's awesome to have that connection. You know,
He
um,
did my
good.
headshot.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah, he did my photographer. Amazing.
yes, yeah. I I love I love seeing I love seeing now that there are more of children that have picked up their parents' trades. You know, we have Loud Pack, who's doing very well in our community. You know, as a as an artist producer, who picked up the trade from his father. Cerie, being an amazing model, but also being an amazing camera woman.
Hmm.
Picking up a trade from her father. So it's always amazing to when they say that we can't pick up traits from our parents, and even you being an amazing businesswoman, following in the footsteps of your mother,
My
who
mother, my
is,
grandmother, and my dad. Like, you got to shout my dad
yeah,
out. Definitely.
yeah,
That's
definitely, guys. Shout out your dad.
he plays no
Someone who
game.
I've been blessed to know for a very long time as well. You know, but yeah, just having being able to say, you're from a line of entrepreneurs, right? It's not just something. It's a great thing to say you have your own vision of entrepreneurship with what you're doing with I Create fashion and everything else, but to have a foundation that was built and from your family, when many people don't understand that black entrepreneurship didn't just start yesterday, right? We didn't
Mm-mm,
just, you
mm-mm,
know, people didn't just start, becoming entrepreneurs with the internet, because,
mm-mm.
your father was in business.
Oh
Uh,
my gosh.
I
As
met
long as
your
I can
father.
remember,
I met your
they always
father
have something going on.
um 27 years ago.
Oh,
So
yeah, they're 20.
they're
No, how old
30
are
now.
they?
They're
I was going
30
to say
now.
this year they turned 30,
They,
right?
they
Yeah,
just they're
Tyrone turned
30
30.
now, but I met your father when my oldest son and your youngest brother was in actually they were in uh not in daycare together.
Oh,
Daycare and then
mhm.
kindergarten. So, you know, I wasn't even fully out of school yet. So I can say that he was in business before I was done with school. So 27 years, you know. Yeah. So that's an amazing thing because that was definitely pre-internet. Because
Oh, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
when that's when I'm about to date myself. I still look young, so no everybody after you hear this, I need you to delete this part. Delete, right? That was during the times,
Mm-hmm.
right? When the internet was only
AOL.
internal. Nah, it wasn't even really wasn't
Yeah.
AOL yet. Like you had to have some money and you can only send messages to your peoples. Like if it couldn't even go out to anyone else. AOL came a little bit after, right? Like 2 years after. So that's pretty funny. So your dad, I've known your dad to be doing a business since the intranet days. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like to have a foundation rooted in entrepreneurship as a family, to pick that up, like I said, from both mom and dad, both being successful business owners in their own right, because not not many people have parents who are both individually successful. Mom is successful and dad is successful.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's one or the other, you know, in business, but they both found a way, to find their own way. So that's pretty dope in its own story. Yeah. So that's really dope. Now I reflect on that. Like not too many people can say that. Like mom and dad both found their way in their own lane too, because they're not even in the same lane.
No, totally different fields. Totally different fields. My dad does accounting and bookkeeping, and he has a home health care facility and, well, houses. And then he also does hospitality and Legos. And so my mom does consulting.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
Yeah,
different.
that's awesome. That is definitely awesome to have that. So yeah, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but we I don't want to breeze past because I tell you this hour goes by quickly. You
Mm-hmm.
know, your wardrobe collection. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
understand. We got to see your wardrobe collection, which is your fashion line. At our streetwear expo. So, what was the motivation behind your wardrobe collection? How can people continue to buy wardrobe collection? And is that a focus of what you're doing, or is I create the main focus because we don't want to dilute the brands if that's not what it is.
So the motivation behind wardrobe was, I would say, definitely having dope people around, because I had an idea, but I wasn't ready to move on it. But I would say that God put certain people in my life that was like, let's do it. Go ahead and do it. You have people that are pushers. And so there's that. And then you have, so that's kind of the force that was behind the line. And it's always, I feel like, not even I feel like, I know for a fact that I've always had a love for fashion. Like, that has been my thing. One of my favorite things to do every single day is get dressed. Even if I'm not, like, I have clothes for the house. Like, I like to get dressed. I like to get dressed to go to bed. I like to get, and I put that much effort into my outfits, whether it's pajamas, whether it's running to the store. Like, I like to get dressed. That's how I always, as a child, our generation, you weren't able, children were to be seen, not heard, right? So how you heard me was by my fashions. You heard me by what I had on. Okay. You will know exactly what I'm going through by what I had on. Okay. So I think that was my voice at a young age. So I really want to kind of showcase that in wardrobe, but have pieces for everybody, because also working in retail showed me that, and styling people for different events, it showed me that not everybody wants to dress like me, which was a surprise to me. So I had to get used and comfortable to dressing people in the way that they want to dress, not in the way that I wanted to dress them. So that opens up another thing that I think is beneficial in running a clothing line, because you're able to think outside of just what you would buy. It's not even about what you would buy. It's about what does the consumer want, and incorporating yourself into that a little.
I love that. I love that because you know a lot of businesses miss the mark because they make the business about what they want, what their desires are, what their picture of it is, instead of really thinking of what does my consumer want. You know, what does the customer value, so
Mm-hmm.
that I can make something more valuable to them. So how did you know transition from making it about yourself, and what you want to wear, right, to being able to understand that it's not about what you want to wear, but what the customer wants to buy.
I would say a few different things. One of the things, and I'll show you how it connects, is by having, again, it is really about who you have around you. So you can have a bunch of yes people around you, and I always say they will yes you right to the pit of hell. Okay, right to the pit of hell. When you have people who genuinely want to see you win, they're gonna say, I don't know if that's gonna work. So I literally had to get around people who don't say yes all the time, which was a struggle for me. But it allowed me to open up my mind to actually think outside of the box, because I always was like, okay, I think outside of the box, I all of this stuff, but I realized how much I limited myself by not being open minded. And so getting around people, like minded individuals, like yourself, like Mark Goods, um, helping open up my mind, and Alfonso and Taja, like the list goes on, um, but it helped me think outside the box. A lot of my fashion um, came from hanging out with Serene Melody and doing Fashion Week with her for over 10 years. I was able to experience designers on every level, from people who were designing and just making ideas and repurposing clothes, to people that were actually like Barbie Cologne, who makes her designs, draws it, and sews it. and picks the fabric and does everything, like constructs whole pieces. So all of that kind of plays a part in who I am today and still evolving. So I would say definitely discipline, being open minded, because I was never open minded. And recently I've been trying to be a little bit more open minded. So yeah, I think all of that plays a role.
That is awesome. That is awesome because that is very key. Having an open mind, you know, because more than that, even having an open mind, having an open heart to be able to receive what's being said to you, because um, many of us miss our mark. I have, shout out to my brother David Corbin. I have a, you know, who does some consulting work for me. Can't be a consultant if you don't, ever refer back to other consultants. Can't be a coach if you can't ever refer back to other coaches. But David calls himself an insultant, right? So you know, um, whenever he's, taking my ideas, normally he's cutting them down. He doesn't just break them down, but being that he's, mentored so many Fortune 100 CEOs, I know that the advice that he's giving makes sense. But if I only took it as him chopping up my ideas, I would miss so much more of what the lesson is. Because I remember the first idea I gave him, it was so huge, and he shredded it to pieces. But then he told me why,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what needs to happen if I ever wanted to get there, right? And if I would have only stopped at him shredding it to pieces, I'd have missed the why and what it takes to get there, right? Most of us only hear the shredding it to pieces, you know, and most of the people that are really good for you, they're going to have to tell you no. They may have to rip up a plan. They may have to tell you things that you may not want to hear, but they're also going to tell you, if they know how to get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't know, they're going to tell you there is a way to get there, and they're usually going to try to help you find a way to get there, right? No one that's ever going to rip you down going to leave you down. That's what
Well,
I've
if
learned.
they're the right people, because some people just, don't, like I say, the cashier doesn't know what the CEO goes through every day. So you want to, if before you take advice, make sure you're taking advice from somebody who has the experience to give you the advice.
Oh yes,
Because
so
some people are just naysayers, period. There's just some people that's just like, you can never do that. Like, really? Well, watch me. And
that's
then
why.
some people's like, that's not a good idea to do it this way. I've actually done it, and this is the way that I've gotten more results. That I respect. The no's, I'd be like,
So that's seeking counsel versus opinion, right? Always seek counsel.
yeah.
Counsel is someone who's going to tell you something based on their experience, their knowledge, or something they have learned. People who give you opinion are going to tell you things based on their ignorance. And opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one, and only crap comes from it. So, you know, you always, and usually people who speak in their opinion and tell you that too. In my opinion, I don't care about your opinion. What do you know? What did you live? What can what did you experience that I can actually benefit from? Because if it's based on an opinion, then it's not based on anything real. So yeah, you're so right there. To make sure, and she gave out another real jewel, right? Make sure you always seek counsel, right? Always ask questions on where they're getting that information from, right? Because they may have gotten it from their uncle, sister's, cousin's brother who didn't know anything either, So make sure they've actually lived it, done it. You know, I can learn from a fool that tried more than I can learn from someone who sat on their couch and never did. right?
Mm-hmm.
Because even the fool that tried can tell me how the foolish mistakes they made, so I don't have to make those same errors.
Right.
So yeah, I love what you. I love the jewels you're giving them, and I'm telling you, this time goes quickly. It went quickly.
It
We got
does.
10 minutes left. So I want you to, before this 10 minutes goes, I want you to tell people how they can find you, how they can, if they can buy tickets for the I Create uh magazine drop, how they can order, what they can do to find you on social media, online, wherever.
Well, magazine on management. As far as the magazine, 27 from 6:30 mansion at 250 Wyandotte Street at time. It is free entry to get in, but we do strongly encourage you pre-order a magazine. The link is up. If you want the link, you can go ahead and inbox at you can hit inbox me on Facebook at
And we'll
Tilesha.
also
Mm-hmm.
And we'll also put the link in the comments so that on the replay, for anyone watching the replay, you'll be able to go into the comments section because we are live on both YouTube and LinkedIn. So I will put the link in the comments section so that you can pre-order your magazine.
Thank you.
So yes, definitely. When you pre-order the magazine, tell them you don't have to be perfect so that they know you were here, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
you found out about it, you know, because it's going to be a great, great magazine, and like I said, I wanted to make sure because the time goes by so quickly, that you didn't miss the opportunity to tell people how to find you, where to find you, how to get your magazine, and really, if someone wanted to hire you also as a content creator or a content producer, how would they find you for that? Is those the same places? If they wanted to hire your agency to do any content creation or content production?
Yes, they would need to right now. They would need to reach out to me via my social media or email, which my email is on my social.
See, she's a real content creator. She's so content creator. You can only find her on social media, unless you're on her special email list. So, that's how she's dedicated to the trade, dedicated to the craft, So find her on social media. I create, on LinkedIn. I create management
I think
on
LinkedIn is
Facebook.
wardrobe. Actually, I think LinkedIn is
Excuse me.
wardrobe.
Wardrobe on LinkedIn. I create on
Instagram.
Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and I create management on Facebook. Right. Well,
Talisha
all the
Smith
links,
on Facebook. Mm-hmm.
all the links will also be in the
Yeah.
in the comments section so that you can easily find her. Just like we did for all our other guests, we want to make sure that you can find them, that you can do business with them, that you can benefit, right, from their expertise, right? Because you don't have to be perfect. You really just have to get started. And we loved her backstory of how she got started, right? Wanting to be reconnected to the world, right? A connection to the world, got her, creating content, from being a stay-at-home mom to finding a way to make a way, so our stay-at-home parents, because there's stay-at-home dads too. We don't want to leave anyone out, right? If you are at home, and thinking that where you are is the last place you are going to be. Remember that you can always be more and do more. Talisha is proof, right? That you can start where you are and keep going far. So, being a single, being a stay-at-home mom, being, dealing with your situation isn't an excuse, but a motivation, right? It's not an excuse, but a motivation. So, Talisha, we have 5 minutes left. Is there any last parting words that you may want to make sure that they hear, remember, understand, know, love?
Mhm. So two different audiences I'm going to speak to. One, I'm going to talk to the entrepreneurs. Any entrepreneur that's looking for advertisement space, I create is a safe, affordable place for you guys to advertise. Another thing is the people that you're around matter. Get around like-minded people. Get around like-minded people. You don't want to be trying to get advice from somebody who doesn't even have the faith to, you know what I mean, to plant something, and you're trying to build a forest. It's not going to work. They don't have the right advice. Get somebody that already has that's built a forest from scratch and get advice from them. The other thing that I want to talk to are the content creators. Sign up for our content creation classes if you're serious about to make money online and not just videos, which is fine. Actually, monetize and close about, because that's content before, because they like how you move on to traffic literally. So that, and we should close less about I'm selling my. So yeah, that's all. That would be what I would say. So definitely reach out. If you're not following, go out and follow me. We have flyers coming out. There's always something that we have going on because it's not just me. There's a whole team of us. So that's what I would suggest you do. Get connected and get familiar.
I love it. Get connected and get familiar. You know, get connected and get familiar. She gave you some great words of advice. Get connected and get familiar. So, Talisha, before we leave, we want you to do what we've done with all of our other guests. We're going to ask you to say our personal manifesto with us. I'm going to say it for you one time through, and then I'm going to ask you to repeat it behind me. So, our personal manifesto goes like this: I love me. I'm worthy. Some people may not like me, but I don't care. But the people that matter will be glad that I'm here. So I'm going to break it down like this: I love me.
I love me.
I'm worthy.
I'm worthy.
Some people may not like me,
Some people may not like me,
but I don't care
but I don't care
because the people that matter
because the people that matter
will be glad that I'm here.
will be glad that I'm here.
And yes, we are. We are glad that Talisha Smith spent this hour with us. We are glad that I Create Magazine is coming out on March 27th. We are glad that she taught us the difference between content creators and content producers. We are glad that we learned about wardrobe and what they can do for our coming women. We are glad that she gave inspiration, right, to our stay-at-home parents that didn't think that they could make it, those who are uncomfortable in front of the camera, those who thought that just because I had this obstacle, I couldn't make it. She taught us about a few obstacles she had to jump over just to get here. So Talisha, we are grateful that you spent this hour with us, that you didn't have to be perfect, but you had the heart to get started. So thank you, everyone. This is another day. So make sure that you join us again next week. Next Monday, we have another special guest for you, but make sure you get your I Create magazine. The link will be in the comments. Make sure you are there on March 27th at Sayer Mansion in Bethlehem for the magazine launch. And don't miss what Talisha has coming for you next. This is Paz Simpson, the happiness engineer.